Hello, welcome back. Regardless of how long this video is, I will put this one out for Friday. It's going to be a very short one, I'm afraid to say. The car still isn't back and that hasn't been fixed yet. Haven't even had a phone call from the guy yet to tell me what's going on, what else is going on. Regardless of that fact, I'm still building a camper. This is going to go on the back, it can be taken off. So the first component, I'm just collecting bits and pieces together at the moment to try and work. So I've got everything laid out ready in the corner of the shed, and we can then start putting this thing together without having to worry about what's coming next week, what's going to be the week after that, you know. So I am fitting this window. I've just got to purchase some Perspex next. I've already stripped one of the glasses out because you've got the panes of glass. Now if you take that tape off that they put round and you get a little scraper, you can get in that scraper and you can separate the glass very easily, separate that glass, which means I can then get some Perspex. I don't know if it's possible to get hold of this rubber though. This is a bit hard, this rubber. I could do with replacing it, but this is the window that's going in, and it used to be a window like one of these over here, because it is actually an ex-council house window, and it used to be like that, whereas the top opens and the bottom opened as well, so they both opened both ways. This has now been altered. I used to work for a glazing company years ago, so I have a little understanding on them, and I've managed to move that lever there from here to there, and the hinges from here to here. It really wasn't very difficult at all. So what we now have is a window that's going to sit in the vehicle thus eventually. So you can open it up like that. Obviously it'll be the other way up because the handle's in the wrong place. Let me turn it the right way round. There you go. Right, so that's the correct way now. So that one I'll open up. That one's going to be near the cooker area because I'm planning to put the cooker on the same side that this is going on. And then the seating area, that one I'll open up. You've got little latches here as well that you push in, and you can get that up. But what happens is it goes up, but the top comes down, so you can't physically climb in with the window open without hurting yourself too much. The same with that one. You really swing that one out wide, and that hinge is designed to move to the middle and then out. We don't particularly want people climbing in, do we? If I have to leave these open during the night because it's so ruddy hot, as I have done in the past. So I've got to get some Perspex. I don't know how much that's going to cost me. I want to tint it as well, so I will probably put the Perspex on one side, then tint it, or get somebody to tint it for me, and then glue the second piece on, and then we've got tinted windows so people can't see in during the day to what we're doing. But I do need Perspex windows. Right, the other thing I'm planning on doing is I need a wood burner, but I don't want just any old wood burner. I don't want a gas bottle, homemade gas bottle one, and I don't want a heavy cast iron thing, and I don't want, because my space is so small that we're building a camper in, what I also don't want is I don't want to feed air to the combustion chamber from inside the vehicle. So we're planning on putting a pipe on the side with a tap that will feed outside, so the oxygen that's being breathed and burnt from the fire will be from the outside atmosphere and not the interior, unless I decide to open the door. Now what am I using for that? This came from a scrapyard, a disused welding bottle. I don't know if it had argon in it or if it had CO2, I don't know, but what I do know is it was for free, and I've cut the end off on a bandsaw, which did not go very well, and I've just got to trim the top. What we're going to do is we're going to cut from the middle up, across, down, and then we're going to get some 6mm, which I haven't got yet. I can't put this video out. This is a part 1 video. I cannot put this video out as a completed build, I'm afraid, because I don't have all the bits. I've had to save up an awful amount of money for the repairs on the car, which is why you haven't had any decent videos for a while. I'm trying to use up some scrap and some junk to build this, and I think I can pull it off without spending too much money, or any money really. So we'll cut along there, and what we'll do is we're going to build a combustion chamber at the bottom. So it's going to be a 6mm box all the way around, which will slope like that, and then there'll be a pipe that will go in at the bottom. So that box will continue down. There'll be a pipe that go in the bottom, which will come out and go that way with a tap on it, so you can adjust the tap and fill up the underside of the grate so the air can be forced in. And then as we get to the top, we're going to cut that off. We'll put a round plate on top, put saucepans and stuff on, and then we'll have a chimney about here somewhere that will come out. So it'll come out and go off to an angle. That will go through the side of the vehicle. Yeah, and then once we go out the side, we'll have a chimney that we can put on, and we can swing it left, right, or take it off and put it in a locker, as long as I remember not to drive off with it up. Got to remember, you see, because we've also got a pop roof going on this thing, so I don't really know at the moment how that's all going to work out. I want that roof to lift, and that's going to be at least that diameter, maybe a bit more in length as well. We've got various fittings. We've got door tape, glass tape, more tape, you know, that stuff there, that's for sealing. We've got some fire clay in the house, which we're going to put on the back, wrap either copper or stainless around it just as a heat protector for the wall. I don't know how much we'll get away with, but that's what I've got, and that's what I'm going to try and do. That will be held on with Jubilee clips, stainless ones across. The door that's going to go on the front, I'm going to get an old exterior light, because the glass seems to cope with the heat of a bulb. So I'm going to take the glass out. I'm going to use that so I can see the flame inside. And that's pretty much what I've got planned, and my battery is about to die. So I'm quite happy about that. Actually, I'm really happy about that. So it should work. Now, I painted this thing black simply because I won't be able to see my Tipp-Ex pen. I had to laugh because American YouTube channel was going absolutely ape mental over these. I wasn't going to swear, I just thought I'd say mental. Running around the various shops. These are really good, and I'd just like to point out, you saw this here first, just for the record, and as far as I know, I'm the only one that uses them. Right, packed up at 7:30, and this is pretty much what I've done. Not a lot really. There you go. That's what is left of a oxygen stroke inert gas cylinder. I've got to cut along that white line there because my bandsaw just is not working the way I need it. So tomorrow I'll grind that off, and the plan is quite simple really. It will go. So that's my cylinder, as you know it. Right, I cut that bit out there, as you know, because it's there. So we will then build out like that, down there and across there. We will come out of the back with a chimney, which will go through the bulkhead, and then from that bulkhead will be another one that will go up like so. That has somehow got to be clipped on easily and removed easily. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that at the moment. The base, that's got to have some sort of pipe. For now, we'll pretend that's going down through the bottom of the floor, because that will be the best place for that to get a vacuum of sorts, because you get a lot of wind underneath the vehicles. And there will be a gate valve on there somewhere, and then there'll be a post come off here. I've got something already in line for that, so as it can be fixed to the side of the wall, so it could be potentially free floating. The front, this is the bottle, as you know, and that's the front, and we're basically going to do a door here like that, with glass in the middle, and we're going to use, I haven't got one handy, but I reckon I'll buy one, the chipping hammers. They've got big springs that you can grab, so I'll probably get a chip hammer and use that as a lever. So there you go, it's the closest definition I can get. Be a hot plate at the top, so I'll put me kettle on there, or a saucepan. If I'm on my own, I'll probably do myself some baked beans to save myself some aggravation in putting the gas on. But remember, start again. What I did explain in the first version of this video that I deleted because it was rubbish, I do have a night heater going in this as well, because I'm taking the night heater out of the lorry at some point. So yeah, we'll take the night heater out, we're going to take the inverter out. I'm not taking the oven and sink out now. I'm going to buy another sink. If I sell the truck, that'll all stay in there, so it's relatively complete. I am pinching the toilet out of it though. We do need the loo for this camper van conversion, so I will be removing that. But I'll be throwing something else in there for whoever buys it off me, really. So they've got a toilet that they can use if they want, but they've just got the aggravation of fitting it. Best of British with that, because the ones I got won't quite go in. If they can put a holding tank underneath, I actually have a proper ceramic sea toilet with a hand pump on it, you know, one for water and one's pump up for water, the other one is you open up waste or something like that. I can't remember how it works, but you'd need a holding tank, and it's got a proper toilet seat with proper ceramic base and brass fittings at the bottom, or phosphor bronze, whichever you want to call it. I can throw that in with the lorry as well. It's a bloody antique actually, it dates back to the 60s. So yeah, I'm definitely keeping my toilet as well. So there's nothing at the top of my head I can think of that I need out of that lorry. So I will probably put that on eBay very soon. I don't know how far I can go with this build at the moment that I'm doing, because I'm waiting for my pickup to come back. If I get a phone call next week saying, right, we can get it fixed, because it's in a queue at the moment as far as I'm working out. I had a little sneak over there yesterday about 11 o'clock at night, and it seems to be on the side of the road still, but there's a load of vehicles parked behind it, so I'm assuming, because mine's at the front, that early next week it could find its way in the workshop, and he'll pull that old pump out and he'll start pulling it apart. Or worst, he'll be ringing me up saying I can't get a pump for it or the parts for it, and that's a done job. So then that leaves me with another option. I've got things to consider. Do I change the engine for a petrol engine? And the only thing I can think of, which is a bit expensive to run and I'm not happy about it, is a Rover V8. That's the only thing that's got common parts that I can think of. You can get anything for a Rover V8, anything you need, you can get them. Britpart do a lot of supplies for those. I was thinking about putting Cummins diesel in it, but you know what, I kind of want to stay away from diesels now after this little experience. But like I said to somebody the other day, it's the first time I've ever had a diesel where the pump has gone. Never happened. I've had a few, it's never happened before, but in fairness to that suggestion, is I've never had a vehicle that's done what, 230,000 miles. So they're going to go at some point, aren't they? They're just unlucky it went when it did. The rest of the engine's pretty solid, so I can do that. Or the other one is to just save and try and keep that Citroen going. That's a challenge in its own, because that played up the other day. I didn't want to start. Oh boy, did that not want to start. I had to put my foot down on the floor, keep the starter motor winding over. I don't know if water got in there somewhere because the engine cover's missing on the cylinder head. But yeah, we could save up and we could start looking for a Ford Ranger, but I really do not want a Mark 1. Maybe a Mark 2, because Mark 1s are high miles and I'm back at square one. I don't even know if they did them in petrol either. I don't really want another diesel, so I think the best option would be the Rover V8. But that comes with its own problems. Unfortunately, I may have to lose the ABS because I won't be able to get the engine to talk to it if it's assuming it needs that information. What else is there? Nothing else really. It's just that, just the ABS. We will get back to the rat rod this summer. The first job I want to do is get that gasket put in. Get it moved up to the top of the garden. I've got hell and all rubbish up here that's got to be removed. Some's got to be cut up and chucked, but I need my pickup back for that. So yeah, we need to clear a space. We need to get that up the top of the garden, see, so I can paint it, and that is the only reason nothing has been done on it yet, is because paint has not been the weather to put paint on. I need to make some alterations to the headlights, and I need to make some alterations to the mudguards. So subject to time, I might alter the mudguards and straighten them up. I'm not putting the Morris Minor wings on. I've changed my mind about that. I don't like it. It's not my cup of tea, and that's kind of where I'm going with it. And then I can make a grill, and then we can get some paint on it. Then we can order a windscreen. I'm not doing a split screen. This is taking too long to build now. So we'll just put a standard windscreen in, and then we can make some mounts for the seat belts. And then once we've got it out the front, once that lorry's gone, we'll make the roll cage up and weld that to the rock sliders and anywhere else where it can be welded to. And the job's a good one. So that's the reason why you haven't seen any more work. Far from perfect, but good enough. So that's the base, which will sit. So it will sit like that eventually, and it will be a floater. So it will be floating. That sounds wrong, doesn't it? It will be floating. I don't think I'll be having that on an actual work base. I don't know yet. We'll see. I mean, it could. I suppose we could put a I don't know, a pole underneath and have a flat plate and bolt that down to whatever it needs bolting down to. I was debating about putting tiles down, ceramic tiles, down on the wood itself. I'm not really sure how well they will hold out with all the vibrating panels and flexing. So yeah, we'll see. Up here, I'm not worried about the little chunks, because especially around here I struggled with that because they're so thick. That hit the limit of the plasma cutter, if I'm honest. That is really thick. I've noticed with these bottles, they're really thick at the bottom and they're really thick at the top, but as you go down to the middle they really do thin out quite significantly. I'm assuming they do that so as there can be expansion from temperature with whatever gases you've got in there. I have noticed over the years that when I've been using CO2 on a hot summer, there's less pressure, and on winter I think it's more denser because it's colder. So yeah, I reckon that's what that's for, basically. Very well thought out, perfect for my application. That's the first part. We will have to do a little bit more trimming when we start making up the plates, as I can see from here. Possibly I might have to get rid of that bit there, but other than that, no, I'm quite happy with that. So we'll weld a flat plate onto there, which will go up, flat onto there and tip, flat onto there and up, and then we'll put a door on. We'll build a tray, we'll build a grate. So there'll be a tray go in the bottom, there'll be a grate, there'll be a pipe go in at the bottom, feed in from the back or from the side. so that will feed the flames. We can alter that height. I might put one of those little quick release tap type things on there instead. I don't know what they're called, but I might put one of them on there instead of a ball. That way I can have degrees on it, so as you open it, it will show you how much air you're letting in. I won't be able to measure the air, but I will be able to measure the gap that I'm allowing air through, so that'll help. Yeah, the best I can do. So now I've got to trim the top. I've got to get my paper, line it up, draw around there. I've got to square that off. But Raddy bandsaw just wouldn't cut it properly. I was hoping it would do a straight slice down, but it just wouldn't do it. It's too big for that, so it won't go through the saws. So I'm kind of stuck at this point now. I do need that. I don't think it will go through. I think the gap. Yeah. I might have a go. I mean, I've got to move all this lot. I ain't used this in years. Since I got the plasma cutter, I've not needed it. But there you go. I don't know. We'll see. Time for a coffee break. I know it's not one of my best videos. Right, well, it is at the moment upside down. I've done all I can do to that tube now. We have literally reached the end. So I've taken as much of that paint off as I can get, because when I do my burn test, I don't really want to breathe in those fumes. Not only that, you see, when I start welding it all up, that'll also burn off into the workshop, and I don't want that. So that's now gone. The slit at the bottom has been cut. It's been cleaned as best as I can clean it. The bottom ain't great. I did use my saw to cut the top. That went tragically wrong because the blade's blunt. New blade as well, only been in there 5 minutes. That couldn't cope with it. I am guessing this might be a, well, would it though? Would it be? I mean, it might be a hot pressed steel tube, and I believe the hot pressed stuff is a lot harder than the cold pressed steel. So I'm assuming that's kind of where that is on that one, but I don't actually know, if I'm honest. Just a guess, really. It was a nightmare to cut, even with the plasma cutter. That struggled. I mean, through here it weren't too bad because it's about 6mm, but down the bottom here that was close to 12mm, and up the top was close to 12mm. So it was really, really difficult to get through. In fact, you can see my plasma cutter was never designed to do that. Never designed to do it. So you can understand why it struggled. Poor old thing. I'll put that through some hell. Time to get a new gun as well, because these tips are getting hard to find on eBay since the government clamped down on Chinese imports. So we'll have to start looking around for another gun, because this one is just, those tips are just getting hard to find. And when you do find them, they're poorly made. There's loads of different types of tips on there, just not for that. So yeah, another job I wanted to do today, but it started to rain, so I couldn't do it. And it is something I've been itching to do for a long while. And that is my front grille. I want to give this a bit of a face. And I've got an arc welder in the shed that I was thinking about bringing out, because I don't want to bring the big neck down. I thought, well, the arc welder will happily tack the steel together, but I'll be honest, I'm not actually sure how this is going to happen, because there's several things that are in my way, and one of them is the light bars right here. I was going to put some angle across here, there, bolt it in, but that's in the way, and up the top here as well, that's in the way. I don't know. I'm just going to have to. I'm going to have to think this through. We've got some rusty grating over here that I brought back from the yard ages back that I found, and I thought, well, if I just grind that flat, get the rust off, treat it, get a die grinder or something inside the diamonds just to clean them out, and we can rust treat that and paint it, and that would look quite good on the front, I think. But you've got to think about this. It's a tall vehicle, skinny and long. It doesn't have a lot going for it on width at the moment, and the diamonds, I was thinking about going widthways, and that's only based on fashion design that I've listened to over the years, people harping on about stripy clothing. You don't put stripes going that way on a fat person because it make you look fatter. You tend to go that way. But if you're a tall person and you're trying to make yourself look a little bit wider, then you would go that way, which is very tall. So I think the diamonds would probably work going that way better instead of straight up. So we might configure them to work that way. Other than that, I don't really have much of an idea. I mean, the day's getting to the end now. So I think that will be another video very soon. That is something I can do on that. I just don't want to bring that MIG out. It's a pain in the butt. Keep dragging that out of here. It's hard work. Heavy old thing. Getting low on gas anyway. We've got other jobs, but we do have a TIG welder stroke arc welder in that suitcase over there that was given to me many moons ago. But I don't have any TIG welding rods. But I do have a lot of very, very thin arc welding rods, so I could break the flux off, I suppose, and use those. And I've got some small bottles of gas over here somewhere with a gas regulator somewhere over here. There are bottles, small bottles tucked away. There's one there. I do believe there's a regulator in that pile somewhere, so we can run it on that. It comes to it to do that grill. But this, well, I'm now waiting for the 6mm plate to turn up, and I believe that plate is sitting in Birmingham at the moment. A friend of mine has got a load of it in his van that's scrap. He doesn't want. He's done his job with it, and I've got the leftovers coming. Mark is his name, and I want to say thank you very much to him because he's been a great help. He is the one who's kick-started this all off, because I've got seals which I didn't have before. There's another roll of it here. This is what I pointed out to you earlier on. So that's going to be my door. We've got various valves sitting here, or fittings rather, that I can weld in for the base tap. I was thinking about doing my chimney with them, but I don't think the diameter is going to be big enough. So I don't know what we'll do about that at the moment. Before we plate the top up, I do want to establish how that chimney is going to go in. We don't have a very large burning flame pot here, and that's deliberate. But having said that, also what we don't want is the flames running up the chimney all the while, because that could cause me problems later. And if that does happen, then this whole damn project is a bin, because we don't want that. I'm only burning kindling in here. I'm not putting whopping great logs in. That's not what this is about. This is just to fill it with kindling, pellets, barbecue, coal, you know, that sort of stuff is what I'm burning in this. Nothing more than that. I'm actually hoping it'll break down into a glow, and then we can leave it for a few hours. Right, yeah, I'm in the editing room, getting the video ready. Suddenly discovered microphone went dead, so I'm ranting away about stuff and you can't hear a thing. So I thought I'll cut this short, delete the next 15 minutes worth, and just say thank you for viewing, thank you for your time. I absolutely cannot remember where I was at. Next time you come back, hopefully I'll have the 6mm plate, and we can get the base plate, the lid plate done. We can get the box built at the bottom. We can then figure out what we're using for a chimney and a side pipe, because we've got a valve, a tap to pick up as yet as well, and we've got an outside light in the back garden that's busted, so I'm going to nick the glass out of that and I'm going to make up all of the door runners. Probably going to use a thin box I've got over there to lock these in, and that just sticks straight on. The guy was saying to me, this stuff, once they get hot you can't get it off, something about that glue. But we've got loads of metal here. This was going to be my windscreen metal, this box, but it ain't going to happen now. I'm just going to go with a standard windscreen as we spoke about. One of the other jobs I would like to do, if I can get that done next week, subject to my pickup truck coming back or not, is I want to get that grill built. I'm desperate to get that on there now, just to give me a little bit of a boot up the arse to get the rest of it done, really. But we've still got, I can't put it on the road this year, but because we've still got a carburettor kit to buy, 400 quid, and we need a new fuel pump, but I want to get a rotary one this time, an impeller one. And that's the best part of 200 quid as well. So with that, I'm going to disappear on you. I think we are done for the week, so I would very much like to say thank you very much, and I'll catch you next week. You take care. Bye bye.